Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be making lecho. I'm going to show you guys a fairly simple recipe. Takes you about an hour to make. I learned how to make this about 20 years ago and I've kind of critiqued it to the way that I like it. I always kind of try to perfect it to my taste. So we're going to get started. First thing you're going to need is 6 to 8 tomatoes. You're going to need 2 Anaheim chilies, 2 Priscilla chilies, jalapenos, 2, 3, however many you want to use in yours. I'm trying not to make this one too hot. Sometimes it could get a little spicy. I also use garlic. Garlic is, you could use garlic if you want. If you don't want to use garlic, that's fine. I love garlic. We're putting garlic in this one. You're going to need a yellow tomato or a yellow onion, tomato. I also like using usually 2 different kinds of sausage links. I'm going to be using hot links and I'm going to be using kielbasa's. I like using those. You can use whatever kind that you want. This is, to me, this is the best way to make it. So anyways, I'm going to get started and I'm going to get all this stuff cut up and I'm going to blanch the tomatoes. I'm going to decore them and then I'll meet you right back here. All right, so we got everything cut up. I got the tomatoes blanched, de-skinned the tomatoes. I'm gonna leave those whole right now. I'm probably just going to smash them up. That's the easiest way to do it before you throw them in the pot. Next thing is I de-seeded all of the peppers. I don't like the seeds in mine. You could leave them in there if you want. I don't like the seeds. We got some garlic minced up. We have our yellow onion. And right now I'm heating up a pan. We're going to throw in our sausage. And when you cook your sausage, I always like to get a good sear on both sides. I try not to let them sit on one side for too long, then they make a little cup and then you don't get a good sear on the other side. So try to flip them pretty frequently until they're brown. All right, now that we got our pan hot, we're going to take our sausage. Let's throw that one over there and we're just going to dump the sausage in and start browning those up. It's already smelling good. So try to flatten them all out in the pan. Flip them around in there a couple times, get the oil on them. Once you have those, the oil all over them, we're just going to let them cook on one side for a little bit. Almost need 2 pans for this. It's a little too small of a pan for this many sausage, but we'll make it work. We're going to get this nice and hot. Like I said, we want to sear it. So let's let that sear for a second. So once you got them seared and browned up, we are just going to grab a bowl. We're going to put the sausage off to the side for a second. So we got our bowl. You're just going to take your sausage. You're going to scoop your sausage out of here. We're going to just leave it to the side. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to add some butter to the pan. Probably, I don't know, 2 tablespoons of butter. And then we are going to take our garlic. Let's get the butter melted and hot first. Let's go like that. Once you get that like that, you're just going to throw the garlic in and you just want to cook it till it's fragrant. Once it's fragrant, you want to throw your sausage back in there and cook your sausage in it for a couple minutes. Smells good. All right, so the garlic is fragrant. You don't want to burn the garlic. throw your sausage back in there. Let that cook. That smells good. That smells really good. So we're just going to kind of let that simmer there. I turn the heat down. That way there we don't burn the garlic. Now we're just going to kind of let it sit. The sausage is pretty much fully cooked at this point, and it will continue cooking as you put it in the sauce and cook everything down. Alright, so now that our sausage has been cooking in the garlic for about 4 or 5 minutes, we are going to now put these back in a bowl. Now that our onions are back in, we're just going to cook those until they're translucent and they soften up. Once they're soft, we will throw in our peppers, and we'll cook our peppers until they start to soften up a little bit. The onions usually take a couple more minutes than the peppers, and I like my onion pretty soft. I don't like it chunky too much. And then with the peppers, I kind of like those to stay a little chunky and not as soft. So I always cook my onions for a couple of minutes. Now that our onions have been cooking for a few minutes, they're starting to soften up at this point. It smells delicious. So now I'm going to go ahead and put the peppers in. So now that our onions and our peppers have been cooking for about, I don't know, 6 or 7 minutes, everything looks tender, everything feels good, smells good. Peppers, man, those things smell really good. Those make me want to take some out right now and start eating them. Now we're going to add our sausage back in. You just take your sausage, pour it right back in there, and mix that up. At this point, I like to start adding salt and pepper, and you can't forget paprika and Lecsó. Okay, so we're gonna add some salt. Probably, I don't know, about a teaspoon and a half, depending on how you like yours salted, and you know, give or take. We're gonna put some pepper in there. Don't need much pepper. We're going to have plenty of pepper in this. But the black pepper always gives it a little bit more flavor. And then what I like to do is I like to use smoked paprika. So you got to use a lot of paprika. One thing about Lecsó, I've heard of people using 5, 6, 7 tablespoons. I'm not going to go that crazy, but I'm probably going to use about 4 tablespoons between the two. So that's it. That's the paprika. So about 4 tablespoons works really well. You could put more, you could put less. You can always add it later too, but I like adding it at this point right here so we can cook it. And then if I do need to add more salt, pepper, or paprika, we could do that later. Everything's coming together really good at this point. Smells amazing, man. It looks great. Looks really good. Now at this point, we're going to add our tomatoes back in. So I've already crushed them up. You don't have to. You can actually cut them into slices however you want. I just use a masher and I mash them up. So it looks like that. And we just take that and we throw, I like to throw in about 6 of the tomatoes, and I leave a little bit behind because these are going to render down. And once they're cooked, I like to throw in some extra tomatoes just so we have some chunkiness to it. I like the chunky tomato. You don't have to do that if you're not a big tomato fan or whatever. You can do it however you want, but I like to leave a little bit to the side. And we are going to let this all cook together now. We're going to cook it until the tomatoes break down and becomes more of a sauce and a stew. It's going to take probably about 15 minutes at this point, and we'll see you in a second. All right, so that's how you make lecho. Like I said, fairly simple recipe, comes out amazing, smells delicious. I cannot wait to start eating it. So let's plate this up. While that was simmering over there for the last 20 minutes, I went ahead and I made some rice. I like putting my lecho over rice. I think that's one of the best ways to eat it. You can throw it in a bowl. You don't need it. You don't need to pair it with anything. You can also, I've heard people make bread bowls and they put it in bread bowls and stuff like that. But I like mine over rice. So let's plate this up. About like that. Let's put that to the side. All right, so it's plated, smells delicious, like I've said a million times already. I cannot wait to try this, but it looks like it's gonna be pretty hot. So let's get a good bite right here, get some sausage on there, some peppers. It's hot. Oh man, I killed it this time. This came out perfect. Got a little bit of heat, got the chunky tomatoes in there, not too hot. I went ahead and I added a little bit more salt and pepper to it, and I actually added about another tablespoon of paprika just because when I added the extra tomatoes, it didn't have enough. So at that point, it's time to eat. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for watching on my rendition of making lecho. So I would like you to like, subscribe, and even leave a comment. Let me know what you think about the recipe. And yeah, I look forward to hearing you guys' feedback. Right now, I'm Trav, and I'm going to go eat this and enjoy my dinner. Thank you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next episode.